med school, that's when I got very much interested in this USMLE journey. So I think that was a very good start point for anybody who's in USMLE to do that. After that, and then I did my internship during COVID, which was really hard, but then I used the volunteer experience for this USMLE. And then I did give my step one in India, but then I got a research opportunity in UC San Diego, where I had the opportunity to do research in artificial intelligence for 1 year, and then I moved to Johns Hopkins for another, where I'm currently right now. And I think the research, the clinical experience, the scores, everything just mattered a lot, and everything just got in place on March 11th, and that's how I got matched.
Sorry, it's a nice answer. I would be impressed as a PD. So next, Samir.
Yeah. Thank you again, guys, for having me here. So I'm basically from a town called Congo, which is southern part of Andhra Pradesh. But I did my graduation from Andhra Medical College, and I was graduated in 2020, which was a COVID year. So I worked in COVID as a physician, and I did my rotations after everything got open, and I was not able to do the electives because of the COVID. So I took my graduation and I did few externships along with I gave my steps. So last year I applied, I was not able to match, and this year I took the chance and I improved my CV a lot from the last cycle. So what I did was the lot of clinical rotations again, and connecting to people and networking the people, and a lot of reaching out to the program directors, even the faculty, even the president. So this year I did tons of mails to everyone. So that's one of the reason I got like more than 10 interviews this year. Last year, I just got 4 interviews, including the pre-match one. So this year, I had 12 on my ranks. So that's how I improved my CV and by reaching out and also with a lot of interview preparation. Last year, I took it light, but this year, I took it as a challenge and I prepared a lot for the interviews. So that's one of the reason I guess I'm here today.
Amazing, amazing, Samir. We always love having candidates who are always like motivated, who are pushing themselves, and who are always striving forward, even despite having a setback. There are a lot of questions for you then in this seminar. Hemlata, can you please introduce yourself?
Hey, hi, nice meeting you all. I'm Hemalata Anam, a medical graduate from Apollo Institute of Medical Science and Research, Hyderabad, India. And my story, I will be like a little similar to Dr. Samir Krishna. I know him already. So I went unmatched last year as well. I'm also a graduate from Apollo in 2020, and I went unmatched. And then later, I think I must say that I do not have anyone to reach out to because I'm pretty much like one of the starting matches from my college, and it was kind of a lonely journey. But I think we should never give up in that aspect, and then like reach out to as many people as possible. And then that's how I met Samir, and then he also sort of helped me out in finding some certain clinical rotations, though I take it at that point of time. But yeah, people are there to help you out. Like, I think you should come out of your comfort zone and start reaching out to people as much as you can. And I did most of my rotations through a consultancy because, as I mentioned, I did not have anyone on this point at that point to help me out. And then I've picked Kaplan as a research for step one as well, but which I won't recommend at this point because I felt BNB has done a great job in basically collecting all the information necessary for the USMLE examinations. And so yeah, it was kind of a learning experience, and I landed up with 4 interviews last year and then again 4 this year. I think I must say it's like kind of crushing experience, but somehow like it all worked, and I'm grateful to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Most welcome, guys. You guys are really inspiring, both like all three of you. And then Harsha, obviously, you're just out of my league, so I can't even say you're just above. Um, so thank you, Hemlata, and thank you, Samir. It takes
If
a
the
lot
research
of
guru.
yeah, he is the researcher.
My God.
So Again, coming into USC, a lot of questions were based on how did you find your USC? And since you said Hemlata, because you didn't know any people, did you think that that affected you getting USC? Or if you like Samir in that sense, sent out a ton of emails, would it have helped with the USC in a better way?
Okay, so I'll go first. I think I tried mailing, and at that point of time, I don't think so. There are lot many resources as much there are right now to go and search online or to reach out to people. I don't think so. Even we are that active on LinkedIn. I got to know about LinkedIn also like way later. So I think that's the reason I picked a consultancy. And but the best thing which I would say looking back now is that I think you can mail them, you can reach out to as many people as possible through LinkedIn. I've seen many people who have got opportunities. I think even Sri Harsha must got an opportunity by mailing, if I'm not wrong. I don't know about that though. So I think reach out to people first, like early journey, like in your med school. But I would say again, one thing that take every step one at a time. Like focus on your med school, and at the same time, whenever you're bored or like you just want to do something else, then only take the time out and do certain things. But since I did not know whom to reach out at that point, that's why I have consulted a consultancy at that point. And yeah, I am grateful for those experiences because they are inpatient, and then I'm a graduate. So yeah, I think consultancy is also fine at some point if you don't have any other resource, but right now there are a lot many resources that are spanned out. So yeah, that would be my first option, just reaching out.
Amazing. Samir, can you tell some ways that you reached out to people on how it is easy for which would
Sure.
be the easiest place to reach out to people and how to reach out to them?
Yeah. Even the first time, like Hemalata, I did my rotations using the consultancy. So, but the second time, I reached out to few programs, which is MedStar Health, which is in Baltimore, and also in Health, which is in Connecticut State. So I got to know these about these programs when I was rotating my first rotations, like during the first time. So we used to have a Punjab guy. I never know about the MedStar Health. So they have the 40 positions of categorical, I guess, just for the. So I got to know about the program because of him, and I have mailed few of the faculty over there, and I got it, but I haven't joined there just because of the interviews. But before that, I made one of the program where I interviewed with, and also I know one of the doctor wrote there. So I did observership over there, and it was my first choice program, but I was not able to match there. But somehow I got an opportunity to work with the physicians as an inpatient. While working inpatient, I got opportunity to interact with the residents this time. I never worked with before with the residents. I got to know how the dynamics of the residency works out, and also I got to over there. And within the program, after going there, so the first one was through the kind of little contact, but after going there, I have been reaching out to most of the physicians inside the hospital. So I'm glad that two more physicians within the hospital, they accepted my request, and I did observership with the three faculty over there within the one hospital, which is with the SCA Gainesville program. And that's how I worked. Also, I did one family medicine rotation at Illinois. Right? Just reaching out to known people.
Okay. Um. So again, Harsha, how was your
So
USC?
my sincere suggestion, sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Samir. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my suggestion would be if you are in a hospital or the place where there's a residency, if you get a chance, interact and pause. So if you can interact with the people and if you can request them, all they can say is yes or no. If they can say yes, it's an opportunity to work, right? So always be proactive when you are in the hospital. So that's one of the suggestion I would give you guys.
Yes, amazing suggestions. Generally, what happens is when we're trying to reach out to people, Harsha, how did you reach out to people if you did? And what kind of, did you follow like a mail format or like that is, available, or did you rack your own message and you, like, how do you go about that for your rotations?
Yeah. So after I was done with my step one, which was I think in 2021 or 2022 January, that's when they started the pass of fail, I guess. So after as soon as I was done, that's when I started my email research. So I think for research especially, I think I emailed specifically to the person who I was interested to based on the website, based on their interest. You format it as such to that person, but it's really hard to hear a reply back. I mean, no one replies. I don't know if they really say it or not, but then they don't reply it. But it's a very good thing that they're interested. And fortunately, I was able to get a position at UC San Diego for regional anesthesia and pain medicine. And the research was in artificial intelligence and machine learning, which was really interesting. So he asked me to come to San Diego and then learn the work. I was like, yeah, sure. But then this was my first cycle to apply, so it was all chaotic. When you apply for the first time, it's all like, would I be able to give my step two in a particular time? And now that step one has pass or fail, would I be able to score a better score or not? Right. But then I took a chance, and then to go in of that year, 2022. And then I gave my step two in end of that year. But during these years, my PI was so, so, so supportive. He was like, you take time to study, you take your time. Like he gave the importance to USMLE, particularly that whatever you want, whatever you get, you can take it. And he was kind enough for me to do the rotations under him. I didn't graduate back then, till then. So I was still a student till end of that year. So I did two rotations under him in pain medicine clinic. So that was one of my rotations at UC San Diego. And I think that's when it's like one from him, which was clinical and research together. But during my UC San Diego experience, I always wanted to go to a much bigger institution like like Harvard or Johns Hopkins or Stanford or something. So I emailed again. The process started again with all the experience I had. That's when I reached out to my professor at Johns Hopkins. He is an amazing person, and he we talked on Zoom several times, and then he asked me to come to Baltimore. So I moved to Baltimore in last year, March. So when I moved there, that's the year where I have to apply for match cycle site. So he knows that I have to apply for match. So he reached out to people for my US clinical experience. And having that supportive mentor is really important. So and also it's like I so one was from UC San Diego, and the other one was all the other three were from Johns Hopkins. One was hospitalist rotation at Johns Hopkins, which was also an observership mainly, and other one was hands-on critical care rotation at Johns Hopkins. And the other thing was I applied to dual specialties. I applied to anesthesia and internal medicine. So the last one was anesthesia or externship at Johns Hopkins. So I think I didn't do any of the consultancies or any of the outside things. So I thought wherever I was, because I do not want to figure out go somewhere, do the housing again, and then stay somewhere for another year. And I don't know how much it's going to be worth it, rather than I just stay here and do and see and how it goes. So I think every of my US experience was from either UC San Diego or Johns Hopkins.
Awesome, awesome. So the first thing again we would advise on this channel is to do the free things first. I myself, like Samir, messaged a ton of people. I think I did 300 emails. I used to do 10 per day to different professors in pediatrics. I used to find, so the way I went about it was I used to go to Frida. After going to Frida, I used to make the IMG listing to 50% or above. I used to, the settings are there, right? We know the settings. So the IMG at least 50% or above. I used to look at the places that had the university names or the hospital names, whichever came up. And I used to go to the website, I used to search up the residents. If there were Indians, then I would mail the program coordinator first with my resume, is how I went about it. 300 mails, no responses. But that one response is enough, as they always say. One was enough. That was University of Kentucky for me, and the program director was amazing. He's an amazing person. Proud to say that he's from a different nationality where all of us keep on fighting with. He's a Pakistani program director. He's an amazing person. Just like Harsha had such a beautiful experience with him, you always have to have a person who will vouch for you. And that only comes when you interact with people one on one. Maybe not like Hemlata said, maybe if you don't have any options, then go for the options such as consultancies. But the first priority should be always mailing people. I know it is very disappointing. I'm telling you, 99.99% you won't get replies. But when you get that 0.1%, that 1%, if you get that one reply, that's more than enough for you to get an observer in a place with residency. Right. So this is what in my page also. Thank you guys for shedding light on that. I know there's only 6 minutes left, so please log on to the same link again, the same Zoom link again. Now, continuing our talk, I did my USCE, all of my USCEs free. The thing that I found doing it free was I could build more genuine one-on-one connections and more professors that I could talk to. How Samir and like how Hemlata and how Harsha like reached out to people as well through LinkedIn. So I reached out to some people through LinkedIn. I was like, hi sir, in the message box, I would put up a whole message saying that, hello, I'm so and so, I've done so and here's my resume. If you do like it, please do provide me an observer. So people are ready to give you that exposure, that they are interested in your CV, then they'll go out of their way to help you. And that is perfect example for all the three of us, and sorry, four of us. Again, three, I always never include myself. It's perfect. So all the four of us, it's the same thing. So first, encourage mailing people, reaching out to people, knowing if you have people in the residency that are from your same college or same area will definitely help. So you email them, and then it goes on to telling them, say, this is, I'm trying for this, can you please. And there will be people who won't help you. There will be, actually, it'll be people who are closest to us who won't help you. Have you guys noticed that? Hemlata, Samir and Harsha, have you guys felt that people closest to you will never help you on this journey? Because
That's rule number one. That's rule number one. They're never going to help you. And keep that in your mind and then move forward.
Yeah, in my case, it's not the case. I have come across so many people in my journey. So many people helped me. I'm glad that they're part of my journey. And nobody said no, never. In my, at least from my family and friends, I'm glad to have them.
Wow, Samir, you must be the one of the twinkling lucky stars, huh? Because generally, who are closest to you, the first rule about USMLE journey is that they're not going to help you. People who are like you don't know at all, who's a random stranger, is going to be the one who's going to talk to the program director for you. That's what happened to us. Samir, I'm jealous of you.
That's very true.
This happened. There was this random mailing thing that I did. It was very sensible, like the format was very sensible, but after one point I lost track to who I was sending a mail, right? So this funny story is, one day I got a call, a WhatsApp call from international number, and I was like, hello, who is this? And then they were like, is this Sai Rashmi? And I was like, yes, this is. Who are you? And then they were like, oh, I'm the professor you mailed with your resume. And I was like, what? And so he was a Telugu professor. He called me up and he's like, hey, I want to help you with the observer. And I was like, wonderful, wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for even like taking out the time to first of all call me, because ultimately on this journey you learn to be very grateful for everybody, for every small help that you do. That is the first thing you learn, to be grateful, right? So I was like, thank you so much for reaching out, sir. So he went, talked to the program director, and he was like, can you please see her CV? He went to her 3 times, and I don't even know this man. I don't know this man. And see, that is the amount of help people are ready to do to you. So it's not always about agencies, it's not always about paying, it's not always about saying, it's about forming genuine connections. And till date, I have contact with him. And when I was choosing my I applied for like child neuro and peds. I still consult to him to this day. I consulted him on the day I was selecting the program that I was selected into. I asked him, I was like, sir, is this okay? And then he's like, go for it. So that is the relationships I want people to develop when you come for a USCE. So there's a lot of misnomer belief that it's always about, it's always about paid, it's always about doing rotations in small clinics. No, it's about doing rotations in bigger places with residents, with the IMGs, with people you can interact with. So that was the first part. I'm going to end this because it's only 1 minute 40 seconds left. Hi, Samir. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one interesting story for you guys. So I have a friend who just had one interview and she matched this year. So all we need is one interview and one rotation. That's it. We should be at the correct exact where we need to end up with. And I'm very happy for her. I was so worried for her, like during the match cycle. She just had one interview, then she matched. So all we need is one interview and the rotation. The good correct rotation where we need to end up.
And see, that is my point. That is the point. Like a lot of people lack that information. Everybody thinks that there is a gray space in that information area. And that is what my page is about. It's about providing that, clearing up that gray space, because everybody is like, oh, only if we go to this certain place through this certain agency, we're going to get a good LOR. No, it is about you, yourself, your hard work, how much you're going to show them. In Kentucky, you won't believe, I used to go at 6 in the morning and come back at 7 at night. And the program director talked to the chairman for me. That was the reason he talked, because he saw my commitment. And that was a free rotation. It was only $150 for the application. So that is the awareness I want to bring to people. Guys, it's going to get closed in about 30 seconds. Log back into the same thing. Then we're going to talk about CV next.
Part of India.
So we can take like 2-3 questions and then go to CV building, because a lot of people wanted the recorded version. Because
I
everybody
think there's some
again
questions in the chat as well. So that would answer some of their questions, like if they are common questions.
yes.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry. That's the previous meeting. Sorry.
that was the previous thing, right?
Yeah.
So next, Vaishnavi, you can go ahead, unmute yourself, and then ask the question, please.
Hi guys. First of all, I wanted to say congratulations to all of you. I hope to be in your place in hopefully next year. But yeah, so I had a few questions for y'all. I graduated in 2021, and initially I wanted to go the PLAB route, so I gave those exams, and I decided very late that this is what I wanted to do. So I gave my step 1 and I'm yet to give my step 2. I wanted to ask you guys about what resources you all used for your step 2. And, I have, I would say maybe 2.5 months. So what is it that I can use apart from UWorld? And I've also heard that people use the Amboss library. So what other resources would you suggest that I use, and how many NBMEs do you think I should give before the exam? And sorry, just also one more thing that Dr. Samir had mentioned was that he said, you should apply strategically. I plan to apply to IM, but you did say that, I would probably benefit maybe if I apply to IM and FM. But so do I need LORs from both, or can I just apply with IM LORs? So that was my question.
Who's written
Should I
step 2
start?
recently? Oh yeah, sure, Samir. Sure.
Yeah. So coming to step 2, as you're just 2.5 months away from main exam, so revise you as much as possible, and if possible, do the CMS forms. And how many LBMPs? The latest ones, at least 3 or 4 would be fine enough. And you have the UWSA, right? So UWSA 1 and 2. So I would suggest give your UWSA 1 at least 1 month before the main exam, so that you can prepare your your gray areas and you can do best in the UWSA tool. So most of the times, the more predictable it was UWSA 2 from the candidates, and it may not be the same for everyone, but yeah, it is most predictable. People say that, and it is true. And coming to the multiple specialty applications, definitely always having the specialty specific LVR would be helpful. And if you can find letter from the family medicine, if you are keeping it as an alternative option, always getting FM letter would be helpful. And I have a very normal letter from FM, but my friend who did the rotation with the program director at Jackson Park Hospital, he had got the very good letter. So he got invited from very good university programs, and he applied family medicine as a backup specialty. But he ended up with the family medicine, but at a very good university program. So always having the specialty specific letter would be helpful.
Yes,
So,
definitely agree on that.
I would like to add something here. Again, coming to FM, I have used one FM letter by mentioning that as an IM letter as well. Though he is an FM doctor, the designation, I think you guys will understand when we start with ERA, when you guys start with ERA's CV application and all of that. So when you're uploading your LOR, there is a designation under each doctor. So there you can mention he is a family medicine doctor. But I've mentioned that this letter is for internal medicine. You can do that as well. So I think it might have helped me because maybe I could use the FM letter as a backup for both IM and FM that way as well. So same happens with IM doctors. There are people who have switched their paths. I'm not sure exactly, but they have done both IM and FM as well. So one of the rotations where I rotated the doctor, he is eligible to give a letter under both IM and FM as well. So I think doing a rotation, even though you're planning for getting into internal medicine under family medicine, is fine. Like just get an LOR and then you can designate it to IM or FM. That will be fine. As long as it is an inpatient rotation. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, you can assign your IM letters to FM, but always having at least one letter from the specific specialty would be helpful. That's what I would add to the IM letters.
That is wonderful. Actually, that is very true. In the same regard, I got two specialties. I dual applied as well, child neuro and peds. Even in ERAS, you have like a section where if you upload the PDF, it shows you whether you want like things. So like this is the last minute tip to not mess up if you're going to like use like the letters. I would suggest write child neurology or pediatrics like right beside, when you're like, this is child neurology, this is pediatrics, because you at the last moment you can get confused. So this is a tip. Next would be Indu. Indu, go ahead.
Sorry, quickly, just thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so firstly, congratulations to all of you all for matching. And I'm really happy to have you all here because your all stories are very inspiring. And my question is, I would like to put out my scenario, like how I'm planning for the next 1 year. I'm going to start my internship and I'm already done with my step 1 and 3rd year. So my scenario is I've already started applying for electives at Illinois, Cleveland, and Kansas, all of these universities, and like hoping for the replies. And the other thing is, I just wanted to extend my internship by 1 week at the end, and then go for the electives. So maybe I'll come back at May end, complete my internship by June mid or something. And then will it be possible for me to apply for that particular match? If I complete my graduation at June ending, will it be possible to apply for that match in September? That's my question.
So I think it depends on how much time would it take for you to get your degree, the medical school diploma, the final degree certificate, which I'm talking about.
Mostly
Later,
that
again, you
1
have
week. 1 month.
Okay.
All the licensing,
Okay.
everything was in 1 month.
Yeah, during my time, it was COVID, so it took 2 months, and then even for certain people, it was delayed. So we cannot talk about those timelines. But just make sure what's the timeline for, I mean, like how many days would it take for the certificate to come back? And also you have to apply for pathways. So since it's been like almost 2 years now, for pathways also it takes time. Like you need your OET. OET results also take time to come back. It takes for almost 3 weeks if I'm not wrong. So I think it is fine. It would suffice in my opinion, but there would be some time delays. Uh, yeah, if anyone wants to add to that, June would be fine, right, guys?
Yeah, I think it should be fine because I think the
Yeah.
pathways open then, and then if you have your degree by
Yeah.
then, everything should be fine. It shouldn't be a problem. ERAS token
Yeah.
opens and everything starts then. So if you
Yeah,
have it,
exactly.
that should be good.
Just one more question we
Another
can take.
Make sure you have your
another
OET
quick
also.
question. Yeah, I'll plan that way. I'll just complete my exams on time. And the other quick question is, I'm currently applying for university electives hands-on at the end of my internship. But if that may not be possible that I cannot do the electives there, I don't get replies from there. So what should my other plan should be? To get hands-on before my internship gets over. What should the other plan be for electives?
I don't think there's a specific thing as if you choose to do a consultancy thing, or like if there's no university option in do, the only other option is the consultancy thing. And in consultancies there's no such thing. I don't think there's such thing as like hands-on elective, and then there's observership, there's externship. I think it's the same. It's the same experience for everybody. If you're a graduate, you tell it as observership. If you're a student, you tell it as hands-on experience. But if you're choosing a consultancy, and it's the same. But I think Hema can answer it much better.
Yeah, as I've mentioned before, like you can, like if you do not have any other option in hand, then you can do 1 month of rotation through a consultancy. I think I would suggest American Clinical, I mean ACE or something. I do not remember, but I'll come back to you guys. I'll just post it back. So you have opportunities there as well. You can take for 1 month and then go there and then find opportunities, like just network, reach out to people, and then if you are you will know, right? Even after 2 weeks after your first rotation, if you feel that you do not have another opportunity at that moment, you can anyway have the consultancy to reach out to. But definitely, I think you can walk into clinics, just have an outpatient rotation for 2 weeks. And then I think you'll figure it out, guys. Like just if you do not have any option, if you think that's your last one thing to go to, then you can go through a consultancy for 1 month. I'll suggest for a month.
Yes.
And then go there and figure out.
Yes. See, the thing is that the thing about USMLE journey as such is that there you can have all the plans you want, and
Definitely.
it's
I
not going to
agree.
work out. It's
Yeah.
not going to work out. You can be like whole year. So the way
That's
I
why I
plan.
was smiling all the way through when people are just planning the entire year and then I'm going to do this. I think it's a good thing, but yeah, maybe it's fine. Like it doesn't work if it doesn't work out that way as well. Just don't get like discouraged with that.
Yeah, discouraged. That's one of the things that I always find a very good topic to talk about is when people do not match. So, Anshita, if you have a question, can you just put it in chat box, ma, please? We have less than half an hour, and I want to do CV building really fast.
And
Or if you
someone
can
asked
ask,
in chat that if you want to do a pediatric cardiology, and if you want to apply for internal medicine from pediatric cardiology rotation, I think that should be okay. Like I mean if you can you can ask the preceptor to write a internal medicine letter saying that you're interested in internal medicine and stuff. So you should ask your preceptor to write it in internal medicine way rather than in pediatrics. So that should be good.
yeah. I just want to know about volunteer work. Okay, a small question. Yes, go ahead. Just yeah, Anshita, go ahead. Ask your question.
Good evening, sir, ma'am. I have a very small question. As I know that there's people suggest about doing volunteer work, so I just want to know which type of volunteer work. Like we have to we have to do multiple volunteer works, or we can continue one for long. And what actually program director wants to see about volunteer work? That's I want to know, please.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a
Can
good
I
question.
answer?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I think for volunteer experiences, So you should all, whenever you are starting your ERAS application, you should have in mind that there's only going to be 10 experiences. You cannot put 5 volunteer experiences because you have them. You should always want to plan out how much research experience you want to put in, how much US clinical experience you want to put in. And I always put in my internship as the clinical experience in India. That always takes one. And then I did my COVID duties. I put that of 8 months of COVID duties as volunteer experience. So I think you should plan out how much volunteer experience you want to put in. I would say just 2 experiences, most important ones should be good in that. And I think the program directors want to see innovative things, right? They just don't want to see national AIDS program by like everybody has that national AIDS program or every other thing, right? They want to see something different, like Samir and I was talking about DCS, Diabetic Child Society, which we have in Vishakhapatnam,
Yes,
Andhra
yes.
Medical College, which was really innovative by our seniors and all that, right? If you have something, you would definitely get a question on, like, definitely ask, hey, what's this? That's very interesting. They want to see different, interesting volunteer experiences. So if you have that opportunity, always go with that, even if
So,
it's trash picking or something like that. Yeah.
so actually, sorry for
Yeah.
So actually, I want to ask, like, is we have to do with any good organization that people are doing, or we can do at our hospital level as well? That will be valuable. So can you suggest some, like, how we can select that this is a good volunteering experience? Means this is something new.
You don't have to be affiliated with a very good organization or anything. Even if your hospital is doing a community outreach program for malaria or etc., or they are distributing something for malaria or something etc., you can always do if it's innovative, if you think that's gonna give a lot of weightage to application. But I'm saying, right, interesting, innovative, different, eye-catching kind of stuff. If even you would know, right, if you're looking in Diabetic Child Society, it's for children in diabetes, type 1 diabetes, which is a very innovative idea. You want to talk about that. It should be something like that, not like National AIDS program or anything like that.
That is very
Yeah,
true.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, Samir. Yeah.
yeah, you continue.
So when it
I'll
comes,
talk to you later.
yeah. So it was about experiences in CV building. How was your experience writing your ERAS CV? And how did you build towards writing your very beautiful thing that must have taken 2 months? Because it took me 2 months. How long did it take? And how was your building towards CV and how it can help the future residents? Something unique that you must have tried.
Okay, I'll
Any?
go first then.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did not have a plan at that point of time because I was too late to get matched into the previous cycle because I'm done with my step 2 in almost July, and then I'm planning, and then I did not have my US visa. So you cannot even like talk about sitting like this and then okay, what about my CV and all? We did not have that time, at least me. So later. But after going unmatched, what I figured out was having good US clinical experience always matters. That's what they have asked me, like at least in my experiences they have always spoken about my clinical experiences and how good were my LORs. And so just plan on what I would say is, again, so somebody spoke about volunteer experience right now. So what I would suggest is, like, if at all you're doing your clinical experience in the US, you can go to a library, and then they will post a certain volunteer activities which are being done in that area, so you can just go and join. And then in the weekends, volunteer experience need not be like you have to go there every day. Even like on Saturdays and Sundays, for them, you just going and showing up and then doing some work, like helping foster kids or something. So I think even that would count. You can just explore as many opportunities as possible. And again, now that they have narrowed down your experiences to just 10, like before, it's very different, right? So last year when we were planning, we can write as many experiences as possible, but this time you have to narrow it down. So what I would say is, like, you should include at least a volunteer experience, a good amount of clinical experience. I think outpatient also matters. Like, people, I don't know why people just take outpatient experience as a low kind of thing. But I think inpatient matters and outpatient as well, because many and after internal medicine, many people go into primary care as well. And then people spoke about my outpatient LOR as well. So just take any opportunity that comes your way and then just make it well-rounded application. Is what I would say.
That is a really good point on CV building because a lot of people in the US that people like students don't realize is that they want to do volunteer work here, but a lot of credibility goes in when people see what they know already.
Yeah.
People see that that okay, fine, we know this organization. So if I was a program director and I would be reading applications, I wouldn't know, Indian Society of something something, but I would know Red Cross or YMCA.
Yeah.
That is the difference when it comes to CV building. And you put up a wonderful point saying that working or volunteering on weekends in a place in America when you
Yeah,
come here for
that's
your
what
observer.
somebody wouldn't be thinking about, right? Like when you're
Hmm.
rotating, you're just rotating. Like now you're thinking out of the box. Okay, what can you do meanwhile in the weekends as well? Like, are you just focusing on then just one thing, or like would you pick up a resident who would go out of their way to do something else as well, right? So now I think all of you guys, like, just you should put yourself in the place of a program director. Like, before asking a question, also you can ask the same question to yourself. Like, how would you
Yeah.
like somebody to get into your program, right? Somebody who's innovative, like even for the volunteer experiences, like as you mentioned, like national AIDS program, everybody does that. So what would you like in your residence? Like you can just sit down and then have a thinking process. The thought process should be there. And
Hmm.
just yeah, it's a process, guys. Again, you will improve every time. Like I think I'm not the same person last year again. So just sit down. So you have us now. There are many beautiful people coming up online and then trying to give up their experiences and all. So just sit and think what would be like a good thing. I mean, like an innovative approach or something, So just you also should have your own thought process instead of just trying to get an external validation from us. So have your own thought process.
2 thumbs up and two, three, like six or whatever it was. But amazing points, guys.
Yeah,
The Yeah, Samir, go ahead. Sorry, I've cut you 2 times already. So sorry.
it's fine. Yeah, yeah. That's the problem with the whole these whole Zoom sessions and
Yeah.
the
Gosh.
I think
online
it's
things.
fine. It's fine.
Uh, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. And yeah, as we have three most meaningful experiences this year, so
Mhm.
even here we should go strategically. So
Yes.
as I applied for the IM and FM, so
Mhm.
one of the first one was my outpatient rotations, which I really felt was meaningful for me. So always go strategically. And also, I
Mhm.
mentioned one of my volunteer experience, as Harsha mentioned, which is a diabetic children society, which is from my college. So this was a very meaningful experience, I would say. And at the end, it's not. It's in addition to innovative, it should be more meaningful. So at the
Yes.
end, if you're working with any volunteer organization, it should be somewhat meaningful, right? So you're making
Yes.
some impact on the community. So in this with this experience, with my experience with the diabetic care society, we were able to diagnose so many kids with type 1 diabetes, and we were able to follow them. And
Mhm.
definitely, as we know, the first leading cause of the blindness for diabetes is like uncontrolled glucose levels. So we were able to prevent those, and I was able to explain. In the better way possible to the program directors and also the faculty, uh, the way we prevented the most common blindness. And also we have, and that's one of the big impact we have created in that particular community, right? So it's the most meaningful. So I would say add the one which is very meaningful to you personally and also to community.
I think for CV building,
So
yeah. Does anybody want to say something?
No, no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
So for CV building, I think whenever I had this thought of USMLE since second year med student, always I had this thought that scores are not only the thing. I should concentrate on my CV, 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 CV. So I have my best friend who's Hamza. So it's always good to have a partner, or it's always good to have someone along with you in this journey, right? So it's like rather than you go ahead and by yourself, it's really hard. So my medical school had central research laboratory. So I what I'm so there's always resources around you. So my medical school had that opportunity. So so me and Hamza every day after med school classes, we used to go and sit there for 1 hour trying to learn new things or trying to publish more or something. So always reach out to people in your medical school, and I'm sure every medical school, if they have a post graduation, every PG has to do a thesis, or every PG has to complete some of the other publications, right? If you help them, I'm sure they're gonna put your name in one of their publications and stuff. That's gonna help in your med school. And that, so I think for CV building, you should always think about what differently, what resources I have nearby myself to improve, and all that.
That is very true, Harsha. The thing was that with CV, when it came to 10 experiences, being a resident already, I was like,
Yeah.
because that is when showing your CV or your ERA CV to different people does really matter. Because, once we write a CV, we are thinking, wow, this is the best thing ever. And that can be one of your biggest mistakes into not matching,
True.
right? Like so when I was writing my CV, I was like ERA CV, I was like, wow, this is amazing. If I was a PD, I will just like, wow, this is so amazing. But once another person reads it through another perspective, they're like, this is very normal, this is a very normal thing, and I wouldn't like, it's not exceptional. The thing is that with your ERA CV, when you have 10 experiences and you have three most meaningful, as Samir said, make something that actually counts to you. What puts your would you put your heart into it, and you're like, you can talk about it, because obviously they're going to ask you about every single thing when they do select you for an interview. Coming to ERA CV, we've talked about experiences till now. We've talked about how to get experiences. We've talked about, sorry, how to get USCE, how we're writing our experiences, how our meaningful experiences were. The other thing which was newly introduced, I think which was newly introduced this year in ERAS, was a section which is apart from your PS, where you can say one experience which has touched you. So regarding this, and what do you guys, what was your approach towards it? The approach towards the most like one of the other meaningful besides the PS.
So for me, I
I
think
left it
I
blank.
already had a story. Sorry, do you want to say something,
Samir left
Johnson?
it blank.
What was it? The eras thing, the last, oh,
I
there's a
think
thing where you can add why.
Yeah, it's
uh,
basically your sad
yes.
story, your cinema stories.
yeah,
So
and everybody
I already
loves
had
sad
mine.
stories in USA.
Yeah, the sob story, a summary of your sob stories. So
True.
I had mine because it's a personal thing that my brother has diagnosed with cancer, and then again there's COVID. Like we are in the era of COVID, and I was hit with COVID at the same time. I was also juggling with work here. So I think it's pretty much that what I faced, and then it doesn't mean like you also have to get a story. Now that I have written a story, doesn't mean that like any experience, like suppose you have done a volunteer experience, how that has shaped you. That's what I mentioned, somebody was asking there.
Yes.
So how did it shape you, how did it make you resilient? I added that it made me resilient, like I was juggling and I'm also preparing for my steps, guys. And then so even my step one is in Jan 2022. I'm supposed to give it before pass or fail, but I was hit with COVID, so I had to give it after pass or fail. And then again I have my internship left. Then again, step two, I just gave step two in like couple of like 3 to 4 months, I guess. I did not get what I wanted. And then, so yeah, I just made that into something that I would see as a chance for self growth instead
Mhm.
of just saying I had, oh, I faced this and all and all. So no, you just say that, okay, in spite of doing this, I'm here. So I deserve this. And then again, don't come out as like overconfident. So it's a balance, guys, right? Balance between being humble and not being overconfident. So just add anything that adds like value to you, that has shaped you or like that has changed you. Just find out those meaningful experiences.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I would go about it the same way.
Certainly,
Um, Yes, Samir. Sorry.
Yeah, personally, for me, every experience was so meaningful. So I thought
Mhm.
if I need to mention, I need to mention every experience of mine. So I left it blank for a reason. So I just
Mhm.
don't want to make one particular experience so meaningful. And my all experiences very meaningful, very meaningful, and I'm thankful for that.
So yeah,
I'm
now
good.
that having been said that, like everybody's experience is different, so there is no right way or wrong way to do anything. Like it's your experience,
Yes.
guys, and it's you. So just put it in a way that you deserve it, and then you have improved yourself. Like how did you improve yourself in this journey? That's why it's called USMLE journey, right? So it's not just destination of just getting matched. So how did it shape you? How did it make you into a better person? So that's all you have to focus on. Yeah, no right or wrong thing. I think it's again like whole year family is in a gray zone, I guess. So I
True.
matched with a score of 233 and I'm proud of it. So yeah, you can also do it, guys. So just don't bog yourself down on that.
Ultimately it comes down to not what is like on the paper what you are like, so not sorry, I didn't mean it in that way. I didn't it Your scores don't represent you, you know, your LORs don't represent you. The thing that represents you is what the 10 experiences that you add, what how human you are when you add those experiences, and how much it made you into a better human, how your personal statement reflects that. I read Harsha's statement, very nice, Harsha, very beautiful. So I'm just saying all of this matters, and there's no one set way. I know that there's a lot of gray area in USMLE, and that is what my page wants to do. It wants to eliminate that gray area because a lot of people assume low scores cannot do USMLE. Wrong. Not good, experiences. I'm an inexperienced person. I am just an intern. I have no experiences. What am I supposed to? That is one of the biggest questions that I always get. I don't have any experience. My hospital is not such a big hospital. I have not, like had so much patient interaction. What do I write? And
That
the
was me
thing that,
last year, you know. That was me last year. You know, I was just always self-doubting, but somehow even with that low score and then not having great LORs, I just had a one or two, I guess. Like I went to the US in August, end of August, and then September. So even with just one LOR and then just the way I put my experiences, it still added me like four interviews. I was just like, oh wow. So I think it is how it's all about how you come across, you know, how you
yes,
put yourself on paper as well. That's what gets you interviews, but they
yes.
want to know, are you the same person which is written on that paper, like on your
Hmm.
CV, right? So if both of them match, you match.
I have people who have like had like amazing LORs, amazing scores, 10 interviews, 12 interviews, but when they went for the interviews, they went unmatched. And the reason is because maybe how you project yourself even in the interviews is important, but that is a completely different thing. Right now it is CV building and all of that. So we've talked about experiences. You've shared your lovely experiences with us, guys. I'm so honored that you could spend 3 Zoom meetings with me on this 45-minute Zoom. You all are lovely human beings. Trust me. It definitely comes out even through the, image that I can see you from right now. Talking to you has been so wonderful. If there are any unanswered questions, I would go back and answer them. If you could help in our community anyway, and you have already helped. So, um, Hussein, can you please ask in the group chat, like in the chat, because I'm almost ending this. Or you can message me, directly message me. That's fine in Instagram. Thank you. So, thank you guys. And once again, beautiful people, lovely experiences, lovely talking to you. Some points were amazing that you guys have put out, and there can't be another, recreation of this wonderful webinar. So thank you so much. Hope you keep spreading all the good work that you guys do. Hope a lot of people, you know, what was very strange, but which helped me, like, and my, like, my team. I'm so thankful to Indu and all of my team, Surinder, like Vaishnavi, everybody who put this up together, who helped me, who could do this, and I'm very thankful for them. When I started this page again, I wanted to just do it one-on-one, but now we've expanded as a family. Try doing PS editing. It will change you as a human. I was talking to Harsha about this yesterday, but I did 35 personal statements editing for free this soap because I wanted to do like free work for people, and it has changed me as a human. It has made me so much more human. It has made me so much more kinder, because when you shared your experience, Hemlata, I'm very sorry for what happened to you, but it definitely brought out a different emotion in us. And all of us have sob stories. All of us have like stories that are very relatable to another human, and just listening to them, communication rewires the brain. There was a study that came out yesterday. So I'm so thankful that I could communicate with all of you in such a basis. Did
And
Hussein put in
pleasure
his
is all
question?
ours. And then thank you for hosting us today. And it's been a wonderful session with
Yeah,
you as well.
it's
It's
a
such a great
session.
initiative. Yeah.
Thank you. It's been amazing. Okay, coming to an end. Bye, guys. It's been lovely, and I'll send you the video recordings as soon as they're saved into my drive. And I'll post this on YouTube if everybody's okay with that. So
Yes.
Sure,
nice meeting you. Stay in contact, stay in touch, everybody. Stay in touch.
sure, sure.
Sure.
Bye, Himlata. Bye, Samir.
Sure.
Bye,
Sure.
Harsha. I'm sorry I kept you guys hungry all this time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Say total cry.